All right.
I believe we're alive.
Woo! We love being live. All
We
right, how
love
are you
being
on this fine day,
live.
Nova?
Yeah. So, welcome to just funny thing that I was asked to do, which is just providing a stream with some commentary for my good friend, Pro Swimmer, aka Grumpy Kong. Um, this isn't an official PSU stream. I just thought it would be fun to do. I like streaming. Um, I am joined
And I like
by
commentating.
I am joined by Minus E.
Yes, hello. I am minus E, also known as E minus by all of the people that mispronounce my name after seeing C minus.
I think
Uh,
everyone
I
has done
am
that
the
at least
local
once.
recycled Brella player that is forced to Dwedwinger. I also pronounce it Dwedwinger because it's funny.
Dwayne. I mean, I've started doing it too because it is in fact funny.
Yeah.
I think the
But
stream should be
anyways,
able to
we
hear
are
me. I'm using a setup where I'm normally muted. So if there are
yeah.
audio problems and you cannot hear me, do let me know. I might have to do some fidgeting. Um,
Oh, let me just boot up the stream here.
yeah. I should. I
Okay,
think
I
I'm
can hear you.
okay. I think I'm
Yeah, I
okay.
can hear you.
Yeah.
Anyways, we are here for our good friend Pro Swimmer and his team. Hopefully, Fire, also known as FF Fox, does not get sniped by about 32 hammers in the span of a single match.
True.
But who would ever do that? I
Probably
did
should
that to
check
him for an
that.
entire night. It was the wildest night of our lives and drunk. Fucking felt
Yeah.
like it though.
So,
I've never had alcohol before, but I would have to imagine that's pretty close when Mr. Stand-Up Citizen starts spouting crazy out of context quotes.
I
But anyways,
mean, I've had alcohol before and can confirm that that shit does happen.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, to be fair, at least in the sense of driving, but also presumably stuff. But sleep deprivation is very close to alcohol poisoning. So yeah,
shit. That's crazy. Yeah,
yeah, they
so
actually have very similar effects on the body. But anyways,
that is kind of wild. I mean, I think that also makes sense because like, I take like an anxiety medication and it makes me relaxed and I've been told not to take it after I drink. I
yep,
imagine
it
because it
is.
over relaxes me and that is a problem.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
They do just kind of lower the amount of energy, lower the amount of thought you're putting into things because the brain is just working slower. But anyways, what were you gonna say?
I was just saying, like, reminder that Pro Swimmer's team is High Tide Terps, and they are playing Turnpike, which I believe both of these teams are out of playoffs. He just saw my message asking them to be on Bravo because of how I have it set. um,
Yeah,
yeah.
I also think it's typical etiquette to put your team on Bravo so you don't get the like
Yeah.
tie advantage. Not that it really matters unless it's Clan Blitz, which already has a tiebreaker built in, but still.
Yeah. I think there was actually a point before, like, before I was in CCA where, yeah, that tiebreaker did actually happen where
Yep.
PSU won because of the we made more power clams rule.
Yeah, it's kind of wild, but this is Splat Zones. Any thoughts on Splat Zones Hacklefish?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a zones fan. I like this map. It's kind of funny because the zone is just the choke point on this map. I feel
Yeah.
like not a lot of maps have the zone as the choke point, but I think this
I
is
feel
one
like
of
every
them.
map has a zone as the kind of threshold. Maybe not a choke point necessarily, but a threshold that if you cap
Yeah.
the zone, then it makes it really easy to explode past that point. But if you don't cap the zone, then you aren't getting past there unless you put actual resources into getting there.
Yeah.
Although I think if I had to compare the maps to Smash Bros, I would say Hagglefish is probably the final destination. Some people like it, some people don't. And Mako Mart's probably the battlefield. So, most people are at least neutral on the map. Very few people actively dislike it, other than it being basic. Even if there
Yeah.
are some characters that are objectively better. In the case of Smash Bros, it'd be platform people who like platforms, and in the case of Splatoon, it'd be buckets.
True. Something something buckets go burr.
Yeah, we love buckets on Mako Mart. You're still welcome for carrying, by the way.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
I'm joking, obviously, but we are
Nah,
about to
you
get
are
into
team
this match
carry.
here.
You're the PSU white carry.
I disagree. That's still probably Scoob. But anyways, we're starting
True.
up this first match here. I'm interested to see if Grumpy Kong, also known as Pro Swimmer, goes with a. Oh, he does. Interesting comp. They have a Nautilus and a sloshing machine. Very interesting. But he chooses to go with a Splatana Stamper. Very safe mid-range weapon against a very interesting double splatling machine comp. Any thoughts here on the weapon picks?
I think, Turnpike's comp is kind of reminiscent of, I think, a comp that we saw in our own division. I'm spacing out on the team, but I think we literally did see a team pull this out in our own division, which, I mean, this is Div 3. It's not that far off.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely something of a comp, and I do recall seeing a Hedit and Nautilus before. I do completely wipe the floor with them. Can't say it's a great comp to run, but Pro Swimmer's team running a Stamper, a weapon that's been seeing less and less usage as the time goes on, alongside a Squiffer, which is very interesting, and a Dreadringer, which I'm personally a fan of. Bit of an L Reef Slider, though, kind of fell there.
The slider, yeah.
Yeah, could have been a huge double, but
Nautilus.
Looks like a Turnpike is starting to make a very aggressive push with the Nautilus here, having already a commanding lead. Not looking too pretty for High Tide Terps.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of peeking at their records earlier, and Turnpike has not won a set yet. They have only played 3, but that is going to be a wipeout on the side of High Tide Terps. That is not that you hate to see it. And as this penalty is going to get ticked down, they're going to have probably only like one more chance to really retake the zone here.
Yeah, although it's a Reef Slider, that retake could happen at any moment once they get that slider, which is currently online. Just have to wait for the perfect moment to use it. Never mind, gets taken out by a bomb. They do have a Booyah online to try to neutralize the zone.
Yeah, well, they have to go for zone like now. They're about to run out of time here.
Yeah, this might be a game one
tick down, and that's going to be game 1 going to Turnpike.
A very decisive victory by Turnpike there. A very effective lockout by the double splatling. Not what you want to see against a backline heavy comp. Really, the main goal is just to rush them down until you keep them out of getting lockout. Once they can get in that strategic position, there really isn't much you can do about them.
Yeah, I mean, like when we've faced, similar comps in Div 4, maybe they just don't. When you're in Div 4, you aren't like as familiar with how to make those comps work, or maybe it's just we're just really aggressive. It could be.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely are a diving comp. Yeah, I definitely think with this, the Squiffer might not be the play here. As much as I know he loves Squiffer, it does not outrange Flatlings, and outranging a Nautilus is the #1 derogatory. I think that's it. #1 priority, whatever.
Sure I guess priority, yeah. Is that what you were trying to say?
Yeah, priority. Maybe. Prerogative, that's it.
Prerogative.
Yeah, but anyways, it's #1 priority is outranging the Nautilus. If you can't outrange it, it is able to just mow down everyone from an uncomfortably long range.
Yeah, speaking of range, Museum d'Alfonsino, very long-range favored map.
Yeah, definitely might see the switch to a charger here, they were a Swiffer, but might see to a splat charger. If I had to guess, it would be camo charger. I know they do like camo bit, but...
I was just thinking, I think Lego Boy has played just regular chargers before, but I'm spacing out on exactly which kits. I think they
I believe it's either... I think
play.
V-Charger might be a good pick here, though, as well. Getting a very easy push up ramp and potentially up to basket if you can get there fast enough. On top of a potential switch to a Paintbrush to poke up ledges, this might be a switch to a much more aggressive comp to deal with the enemy's very passive comp.
Yeah, that is true. I think, like, that last game, it almost kind of seemed like they were starting to lose that kind of, working together kind of thing. Especially because, like while double backline comps like that are pretty easy to... It's hard to push into them, but like once you're able to kind of lock them out, then you can just kind of steamroll from there.
I would compare it a lot to double roller comps, like super sharky double roller comps being a nightmare if you can get them into lockout, where they really have no chance to push in. But if they can get you on lockout, it is very hard to actually make any space on them. That would almost be the opposite
of double backline, because backlines are, they're anchors. They have an easier time kind of holding space.
Yeah.
Whereas rollers
Goes
would be
for
better at
replaces
taking
one
it.
of their replaces one of their splatlings with a tri-slosher. Definitely a much more aggressive comp
we have
here on both sides too.
Besides the Dreadringer, like I believe that's a complete comp change on the side of High Tide Terps. One already going down on the side of Turnpike as one opts to drop
With
out.
Nautilus
they did that thing where they both dropped on the left, which is something that I specifically remember telling you guys in a VOD review not to do.
Yeah, it is probably one of the worst things you can do. Nautilus decided to do it again, definitely in a bit of a better position since both their teams moved up. The Brush just able to juke them out though. The Nautilus not able to find anyone, eventually gets picked off. Now, with Turnpike down 2 and the very oppressive Crab out, this is going to be a very strong mid-hold. They do not have much clams to get a good score in. Definitely taking their plat though.
Yeah, I mean, High Tide Terps, they definitely do have well, they did have enough clams to go for a push, but then the roller unfortunately gets picked off, forcing their charger to push back. As Terps goes 2 down, they're going to lose control of lead of mid here.
Yeah, not the kind of push that you want to see happen, but definitely not game over. This is a very hard map to actually get the score on, so not completely unsurprising to see a strong mid-hold get flipped on them without any scores being made.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was on Crab Leg, but we did kind of see earlier, if you guys were tuning into the PSU sets earlier, which we were also casting for.
Yeah.
Like, they basically, like, did not get a push in until, like, the last minute of the game. So, like,
yeah, this
Museum, it's also possible, although it's not as, for lack
I
of
would
a
say
better
it's
term,
more likely.
as Crab Leg
I
is.
think when it comes to playing open Clam Blitz, which obviously isn't very comparable to comp, but in the case of, like, how long it takes to score, probably is, but open Clam Blitz matches, Museum has the worst score among all of them. Even map otherwise known for getting 8-minute games like Mincemeat still typically last longer than 8 minutes. Brush, unfortunately, going down, might not have realized they had a sneaky play.
Yeah,
but they are managed to get a 1 ball in.
Yeah, Turnpike able to get 1 ball in. Unfortunately, they do not have any more follow-up, as they are going to go 3 down. This is Terps' chance to take space and possibly prepare for a counter push. As long as they have, like, 1 extra clam, they could easily take the lead here. Although this Dreadwinger getting caught out alone, although they are able to surprisingly get a pick-off before they immediately get murked by this pro.
Yeah, unfortunately, with losing that ball there, that is going to cost them a lot of their momentum.
Yeah, definitely, as Turnpike is able to keep control of mid here. Specials coming out. They're trying to go for another push here. Like, they have control of clam economy, and Terps is currently 2 down.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to start trying to turn this around into a proper push this time. Able to get a ball in with an extra clam to spare. So it's going to drop them down to Prosumer's favorite number and PSU's notoriously hated number. Hopefully, they managed to score a ball. Would be sad, but that did take them off of 67 points, so I'm not really complaining.
That is true. I'm gonna have to talk to Swimmer about that password next time I see him.
But Pro able to take a very strong point up here. Gets picked off by the Brush, but it looks like they're going to try and greet another ball. And
knockout.
Do manage to make it, and that is a knockout on
the
clams. Unfortunate.
They got the cheeky clam in from the, what's it called? The block there, which is unfortunate, which is going to give that game back to Turnpike.
Yeah, Turnpike starting off here with an explosive 2-0 lead, but if it's anything like the past 2 matches I've commentated, literally this evening, back to back to back, it is going 2-0 on one side, flip to 2-0, or flip to 2-2, and eventually taken in a knockout.
Yeah.
Did J Money actually just rename me to Holy Pings?
Are you getting renamed?
No, he gave everybody a role of Holy Pings and pinged that role. This man.
Oh my... Jay... This is like when he named you everyone and then did an at everyone ping, and I'm sitting here like, what the fuck
pinged
are
me
you
and
doing?
only me.
Oh, my PC. Well, I mean, you know, going 2 down to start isn't the best, but, I mean, teams have come back from this. You know, you just gotta kind of calm down and be like, you know, we may have dropped those first 2 games. Those are just warm-ups. Now we're going to lock in. Now we're going to take those 4 games in a row. We're gonna sweep. I don't know why I said it like that. Don't judge me.
Yeah.
Yeah, going into TC Mako, hopefully, I believe they are gonna be sticking with the Dwedwinga TM, as Fox is the Terp playing the Dwedwinga, and they readied up right away. They're the only ones who readied up right away.
Yeah, Dreadwinter definitely a strong pick, especially on Mako Mart. And our set, it was able to single-handedly carry the team to victory. I'm still not gonna let that down. You should not have picked Blaster there. All I'm gonna say, Blaster's not the right call, but
I think I was admittedly a little tired, and I'm like, you know what, just
I mean,
play
you went
whatever.
11 and 12, which
just play whatever.
it is like, yeah, somehow went negative with 11 kills, but at the same time, you did get 11 kills, which definitely helped out.
That is true. I was kind of turbo feeding that whole game. I mean,
But anyways,
I went
back to
11
the
and 12.
actual
That's
match.
the only game I think I went negative the entire season, and I was just not feeling it after that.
Yeah, it's a fine. But anyways, back to this match. What do you think about these comps that we've seen? What do you think of their chances are, especially on such a bucket-heavy map? I think we might see the Tri-Slosher again. What about you?
Yeah, we might see the Tri-Slosher again, although I think the Dwedwinga should, you know, I think they have a winning matchup. Although if they pull out, they might pull out the machine again. Yeah, no changes coming from Turnpike. We see the Squiffer coming back out, and we're also seeing
this
a
time.
Headit and a Paintbrush on the side of the Terps. I hope it's okay.
Yeah, Paintbrush, definitely a strong
Terps.
Paintbrush maps. Goes for the Paintbrush Nouveau kit. Definitely my pick for least powerful kit of the Paintbrushes, but Missile is definitely not a bad option, especially into such a slow comp.
Yeah, here we have the Splatling off as the Paintbrush goes down early, where each team has
Nautilus,
a 2-point push here.
Yeah, Nautilus getting the lead, a massive lead of 1 point. But
we love our 3-point leads.
Yeah, the Nautilus, though, just trying to hold back on the keep this match an anchor, or give their team an anchor to jump to, but overall just not really helping them take much space. The push is going to die because of it.
Yeah, although as soon as you say that, we see the Squiffer getting a double here, single-handedly shutting down this push, although they are going to get cooked by the Nautilus. The Nautilus kind of the MVP here on the side of Turnpike.
No, the sloshing machine putting in work, taking down that sloshing machine from the Paintbrush from a very impressive distance. I just realized they're running double fizzy. That definitely a good sub for clearing off stacks here.
That is true, but it is also not a lethal bomb, so that could cause a bit of extra trouble if you're trying to, you know, get picks with it.
Yeah, I mean, they did get a pick, like 2 picks so far, so I wouldn't exactly call it non-lethal.
We have Balls here winning the Headit 1v1.
Yeah, definitely never count Headit out on its fighting potential. Even without full charge, it is still very good at killing. And with full charge, it is actually one of the fastest kill times in the game. Its shot speed is 20 shots per second, tied with short range ballpoint for fastest shot speed in the game, along with one of the fastest kill times. Ooh, the Tri-Slosher tries to make something happen on tower, gets immediately picked off. Same with the Headit here. The Paintbrush trying to work out a good missile spot, getting some pressure on and getting some locations for the team. Managed to find a pick with missiles.
Yeah,
not something you see every day.
Here and able to clear off the stack. This is Terps' chance to push up. I say that as soon as Swimmer almost dies to rain.
Yeah, not what you like to see. Ooh, that is going to be a 3 down on the side of Terps.
Yeah, it is just
even with their Headit, they're trying to hold their own. Yeah,
this is a very low-scoring game so far. About halfway through, and the first checkpoint is only now getting broken by Turnpike.
Yeah, though unfortunately, the low-scoring game still absolutely applies to high tide Terps here.
Oh, I think we're seeing some lag on the side of Turnpike there.
Yeah, definitely interesting maneuver, but
you know when you just casually decide to defy gravity.
Yeah, I mean, I do love my good old high jumps, but the Headit getting 3, that is a wipe.
That's a wipe on the side of Terps. Now's their chance to take space here, as this might be their only chance to really retake here, as Turnpike got a pretty nasty push on them to begin with. I'm just now realizing that the colors are flipped. God damn it, I forgot to turn color lock on again.
Yeah, the Swiffer unfortunately goes down, is not able to get a bubble on tower. Paintbrush tries to make something happen, gets a trade out with the machine, but that is not going to be enough to get their team the momentum that they need. A panic bubble up here on stack, just trying to hold as best as they can, but is forced out. Gets a pick on them though. There's going to be 3 down again on this, excuse me, on the side of Turnpike though.
Yeah, hopefully this will be when, you know, Terps will be able to get past this first checkpoint, because once you get past that first checkpoint, it hopefully shouldn't be too hard for them to, you know, retake this lead here. Although the Booyah Bomb is going to come out, which is potentially going to slow them down a bit, as they are able to get that checkpoint, but not... They're getting pushed out here. This pro doing some schmoovin' here, although they're
barely lives, but
2 down.
Yeah, 2 down once again. That is going to be lead here on the side of High Tide Terps. The Dread getting another.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is
There's
a wipeout. That is going to be a huge lead, especially if they can get the Swiffer can get a bubble here soon.
Oh yeah, and with that second checkpoint broken, it is going to start to snowball a little bit here, as we do see the GG slider coming out.
Yeah, the slider going to be able to take a bit of space here. Might be able to get checked. Which does not get check, unfortunately. It looks like High Tide Terps looks like Turnpike is able to get a bit of momentum back here.
Yeah, although this is
trying to get some kind of counter push, but
for the Terps here, as they did get it all the way down to the 3rd checkpoint. All they really have to do is just stop Turnpike from getting past, you know, 46.
Yeah, and with GG Missile and Slider, with GG Missile and Slider in their arsenal. It looks like
I forgot to swap out. That is going to be the first win for the Terps.
Yeah, it looks like they had GG Squiffer instead, everybody's favorite.
GG Squiffer. You know, it's a niche pick, but like everyone always sleeps on the
powerful.
GG Squiffer.
Honestly, Squiffer is pretty good. It's just it lacks in range, but more importantly, it lacks in good kits. Like Bubble is good on it, but
yell at Fox. They're throwing. They aren't playing the team emote. They're pulling in -E.
Hey, look, Dreadringer's got to stick together, you know.
You say stick together, I say throwing. Not even gonna comment on that.
No.
Damn. How dare. Don't you know that you're always supposed to respond to every stupid thing I say?
Exactly. Sorry, I was typing in, looking for
fine.
game. They're still trying. They're still pinging. They're still pinging, by the way.
And they don't.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I'm way too tired for this.
It's alright. Rainmaker Scorch. I definitely like their High Tide Terps very aggressive comp here on this match. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, admittedly I'm a little sad I didn't get to play this during our set, because I do like kind of haha aggression go burr on this map mode. I do think, yeah, like you said, like having the more aggressive comp will probably definitely be more of a more beneficial.
Yeah, I do wonder if we're going to be seeing a bit of Burns Brush or V-Pain from Swimmer, or if he's just going to go with trusty Decat to try and...
Does Swimmer play V-Pain? I'm like spacing out on the map pool.
He's been experimenting with it, but he mostly sticks with Decav or Pain Nubo.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I don't come off as like kind of downplaying it here, but both of these teams are out of playoffs. So this match, it's not like the winner is going to be like, oh, whoever wins this is going to playoffs. At this point, you're mostly just kind of playing like, hey, you know, we might be out of playoffs, but let's get an extra win for the road, you know?
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be going with Decav in a double backline comp. Not what we expected to see.
No more Dwidwinger.
Yeah, especially going into a very aggressive here, but... Or, well, I guess saying machine and is aggressive is a bit of an overstatement, but definitely a more aggressive comp there. But even then, had it still able to play aggro, gonna get flanked here, going 2 down the side of Turnpike.
They went 3 down. Why are you taking the grades? Okay, good. You're going to
take the grades.
Although they are
not
going to get
very
slowed
smart.
down by the back, and then they're going to get decaved by Swimmer. That Rainmaker shield saved that guy's life.
Yeah, it did. Didn't seem like it lasted long with Turnpike going immediately 2 down. I would say not what you like to see, but let's be honest, we are on the side of UMD here. So,
we're
absolutely what we love to see. We are very biased.
Not the bias.
I'm not shy about the bias.
Okay, I mean, I'm going to try and be neutral, just... because of
But
commentary
Pro Swimmer able to get a
shenanigans or something.
very good cap here. Not able to find another pick, but does manage to trade out. Keeps the momentum going a little bit, but it seems like the rest of his team is still back up in mid.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a little too early to tell because, you know, in Rainmaker especially, anything can happen. But
Yeah, especially with only being at the first check, but definitely not a bad place to
but
be.
so far, it does kind of seem like that aggressive comp is working out in Terps' favor. Although that push
even
is
with
going
the
to
Hadit.
and getting the trade out on the Rainmaker.
Definitely want to stall momentum, although they do immediately go 2 down, so the trade might not have been worth. They pick up Rainmaker just to stall the bubble, I guess.
To push it up, which honestly, that's not a terrible play.
Yeah,
Although,
it's not an awful play given the rest of their team is respawning. But
yeah.
they have a vac online, ready to either stop a push or create it their own if possible. Decav trying to play
played
behind
really
and not able to
aggressively
find a pick. Yeah, meanwhile the Rainmaker gets pushed up to their plat. The vac does go out, but they get picked. So now it's just fighting over the Rainmaker on their plat here. Kraken goes out, tries to get something done. Able to get a pick on the person trying to grab, but does look like they're going to be able to get the cap here.
Yeah, all they have to do is pop and then they can get lead here. In terms of Turnpike, which it seems like they are able to... Are they? Yeah, there's the lead flip.
They do.
Oh, and that's going to be a wipeout on the side of Turnpike. That is exactly what the Terps need in order to retake space here. And possibly
especially with their checkpoint gone. We have now entered the territory of very explosive wipeout pushes. Just one wipe at the wrong time and can lead to an instant lead flip and potentially a massive lead now that we don't have a check to break through.
Yeah, especially since this is not a safe lead for Turnpike here. While it is numbers even right now, it's like, you know, Terps, well, now their numbers up on the side of Terps.
2 down with, and Terps have a massive special advantage. It looks like they're just going to have to coordinate these. Yeah, they took the grades, which is interesting. The Charger deciding to jump in to try and get a vac here, but does go down to the Kraken. Rainmaker gets popped and is just going to be left there. Nope, never mind. They grab it.
Yeah, they're gonna opt to grab it here. I guess at this point, Turnpike, you know, you wanna take control of mid here. You might not be able to push right away, especially because it seems like their shot went down. Their shot, I guess, was holding forward a little bit too much there. The vac is going to come out, which is going to allow the Decav to get a pretty easy double or triple here.
Ooh, that is going to be 3 down on the side.
I know we have at least
Turnpike.
one Swimmer fan in my chat right now. You love to see it.
Yeah, able to get almost a quad and completely stop any momentum Turnpike hoped to get. Now they're carrying Fish, just trying to stall out for a little bit. Only a minute left on the clock.
Yeah,
definitely not enough to stall Rainmaker entirely,
but
but
snowbally
definitely
this map
enough
mode
to
is, it wouldn't hurt to get another push in if possible. Opting to try and go for the grates again, which is
interesting amount of
great
gameplay.
3 of all places we're seeing this. They are able to find the double here with the Rainmaker.
Rainmaker double is kind of huge, even if they have a lot of people.
Ideal, as this might be Turnpike's chance to retake the lead here.
Yeah.
Although with Swimmer coming in and getting a cheeky kill there on the Rainmaker, that's going to slow them down enough for them to hopefully regroup, although they might end up losing the lead here. Oh,
the lead barely doesn't get taken with 25 seconds on the clock. This is extremely close. Opting to play it safe, which might lose them the lead. Now they have 17 seconds to try and take it back. This is not looking pretty for Terps.
Almost a little too slow there on the defense, allowing Turnpike to get the lead there. Although it's not the most secure lead, they do still have to get the Rainmaker all the way to the other side of the map within 60 seconds.
Yeah. Do you remember, it's not having to go from 42 to 35. It's having to go from negative 35 to positive 42. Or positive 35, which is definitely a huge distance. You'd have to go to
positive 34.
Oh yeah, this is true. That would be over 100 points having to be poured into the span of 30 seconds.
Trying to rush down this Rainmaker. This is not good for the Terps. They are going to go down, but the Rainmaker is also going to go down with them, giving Turnpike their 3rd game.
Yeah, definitely a strong comeback by Turnpike there last minute, but Terps is still not down for the count. They still have, ship-shape zones and... Undertow Tower left to go.
Crab-leg clams.
Oh, crab-leg.
And potentially...
Sorry, I forcefully suppressed that map for my memory. I mean, what?
Fair enough. And potentially Undertow Tower control.
Yeah.
Although this is match point for Turnpike, which is, it's going to be, I believe, Zone's ship shape. So
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Terps
bit.
wants to have a chance at, winning the set. They're gonna have to win here and get like a pseudo reverse sweep.
Yeah, it's definitely not looking pretty for Terps, but I wouldn't count them out yet. Splat Zone ship shape, definitely a strong charger map, especially for something like a Swiffer.
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, Bubble isn't terrible here, I'd say, because the zone's pretty narrow. So you could hypothetically pop a bubble on, say, like their bridge, on like the backside of the zone, and that could potentially at least slow down the other team. If
Not to
they
mention, if you
attempt to push
manage
it.
to put one behind Pillow in the middle of the zone, that is a very hard thing to take out if you can like have some way to flush them off a bridge, say like a bucket or a slider or a splashdown or something.
And we have
If you can force them off of their bridge, then
play both of those.
yeah, so a bucket in or a bubble in the middle of the zone is able to hold off most pushes. Not to mention, it's also fairly competent at painting. Something a bit underrated about bubble on zone, but it does paint decently well.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously wouldn't be enough.
Going for double headed on both sides with double splatling and a charger.
We're seeing the dapples come out on the side of Turnpike. That's not something I believe we've seen yet. With Terps opting for the crab charger.
Yeah, very interesting weapon choices. Both teams running ahead and both going double backline. Definitely interesting comp decision from both sides, but definitely one that could lead to some interesting plays.
Yeah, we have the Terps here finding an early cap, although they are going to go down here. I say that as soon as they also get a pick on Turnpike.
Yeah,
now, Turnpike
looks like they're just going to try to use missiles.
Just the head it getting fuck you missiled by the swimmer and getting picked off by said fuck you missiles. Oh no, they got sniped by the charger.
Yeah, definitely a strong way to stagger. Remember, even if it looks like it's just spiteful, it is going to stagger them for at least 7 seconds, since now they're one down and the enemy player just died. Not what you want to see if you're Turnpike.
We love Phantom missiles. The clock going down to 25 here. Turnpike going to have to utilize their specials if they want to try and retake the zone here, which it seems like they're going to try to. I got hair in my mouth. God damn it! With the Terps going 3 down, it is just the head-it charger. I believe the charger jumped in. I'm a little confused. We have Balls winning the head-it off, able to find another.
But double teamed. It gets double teamed with trades out, which is definitely huge on the side of Turnpike, but might not be enough, especially with the drag going down there.
Although Terps are starting to stagger a little bit, they'll need to regroup here if they want to have a chance at retaking. They do have some time, but as the clock ticks down, you want to make sure that you have the necessary specials, as this machine opting to try and poke the Dwedwinger. Oh, canceling the slider.
Oh. Yeah, managed to get a very key pick on the slider here. Not going to make capping a bit harder, but does manage to find it. The charger does go down to a key flank, though, and it looks like they're going to have to work for the zone
solo capped the zone. Maybe with the help of
I mean, Paintbrush is definitely scarily good at painting if you give it that just little bit of necessary time.
If you just let it sit there, then I mean, I could see it painting a lot.
It is definitely a weapon you need to keep an eye on at all times, and something that they seem to be not really paying much mind to, and something that Pro Swimmer is absolutely exploiting.
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely a good play from Swimmer, as that is something that Terps needed in order to kind of get that penalty on them and to possibly get more points, as they are going to. I don't want to say definitively, as it's still going kind of back and forth here on the zone.
With 1 down on the side of Terps, Turnpike going 3 down, it is definitely not looking great. The slider just to confirm the cap on zone, and the Dread is now pursuing their last remaining.
Yeah, we have the head off once again being won by Balls, helping a teammate
Balls
there.
That is
great team play.
Huge momentum here. The slider getting a key double to neutralize the numbers, and it looks like the Turnpike is going to decisively cap zone here.
Yeah, this is Turnpike's chance to try and flip the lead here, as their penalty is ticking down. especially as Terps go 3 down. This isn't looking good for Terps, as that penalty is about to run out, and it's not going to take super long for the lead to flip here, as we do indeed see the lead flip. Terps are going to have to push in now, which now is their chance with a wipeout on the side of Turnpike.
Yeah, absolutely huge wipeout with the Charger immediately going and taking their bridge, trying to get something done with Crab just to give them that little bit of time. Gets a pick. That is huge.
Gets a double.
Gets 2 picks. That is going to be a lot of time here for Terps. Not going to give Turnpike much time.
It's a little confusing.
Looks like it's going to be a lead flip here soon, unless they can get some kind of GG slider in. Looks like they're going for it. Not fast enough. Gets picked.
As the slider is able to find one, but they're going to immediately go down. The zone probably going to flip yet again with only 30 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, an unfortunately timed missile when it comes to keeping the zone cap, but definitely one with merit. Though it looks like Turnpike is now making a decisive push in. Looks like they're going to start getting them into lockout position. Now it's just to see if Terps is able to get it back in like 20 seconds.
Terps are going to lose that reef slider, which is not something you want to see. But then Turnpike does go 3 down. Now is Terps' chance to retake the zone.
Yeah.
They need to retake it now if they want to secure this game.
Getting a pick on zone, absolutely massive.
Oh, and
Getting a pick, that will be the cap. That is game 5 going to Terps.
Yeah, the crab double. Definitely securing that game there, because Crab can paint. But, you know, painting the zone with the blood of your enemies also works.
Yeah, honestly, it is a surprisingly underrated way to paint zone, but dying on zone is absolutely awful. It is usually even just 1 pick is enough to neutralize the zone, and 2 usually caps it.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously not necessarily reliable, but it is one of the void in situations like that. You never want to be caught dead on zone, otherwise that is going to almost certainly be an instant flip for the enemy team.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, you know, you can probably tank 1 death on the zone, but it is definitely not ideal. It is also map dependent. Like, if you die on, like, Barnacle, it might not be as bad as compared to, say, if you die on Urchin.
Yeah, I mean, if you die on Urchin, especially if they're on the other half of zone, that's just instant flip. Like, dying caps half the zone, so if the other person shooting you was on the other side of the zone and just, you know, ended up painting it by accident, that is almost certainly an instant flip there. But granted, Urchin zones is the easiest zone cheese. Like, I will say it before and I'll say it again. Zuka is an effective zone cheese on Urchin, and Zuka paint is garbage.
It is the cheese map.
Yeah. Like, it feels like the zone is specifically built with splashdown cheese in mind, given both fists can very comfortably cover both sides while you don't even have to land in zone. But coincidentally, it also made it very, very safe to cheese with literally every weapon.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, Dynamo and Paintbrush can cap it in like 2 or 3 swings, so...
Yeah. Let's see. So we are going into... Clamblitz Barnacle, or not Barnacle, god damn it, I was just talking about
I wish it was Barnacle.
Clamblitz Crableg. You can tell that I'm starting to crash out a bit here.
Yeah, definitely an interesting map here. The double splatling probably not going to be optimal, so they opt to switch to Bucket. Same comp from the side of Terps, though, still running a double backline with Headit and Charger, although Headit very capable of playing midline.
Yeah, I think the only weapon change that we're seeing here is going to be the Tri-Nouveau on the side of Turnpike. Let's see.
Which is
so the last game we saw, there was like no scoring until the last minute. So let's see here if these guys can make the game a bit more interesting than just neutral for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, granted, this is kind of how Clamblitz works, but granted, we've already seen that they are able to get a knockout if they're able to just get the strong enough push. So,
oh yeah,
ooh, they're gonna use Cooler and immediately get Booyah'd, which is interesting. Not what I would have used the Booyah on. Definitely an option. It gets picked by Curling Bomb of all things.
Kill.
Oh, I just noticed they're going V-Pain here instead of Pain Nouveau. That is definitely interesting. Although, personally, I would agree with that choice. I think V-Pain is the much superior kit, especially on Clamblitz, where Curling Bomb into Basket is absolutely massive.
Well, finding the pick on the Dwedwinger here. And yet it's still numbers even for the most part.
Yeah. Not to mention, they have a vac online. Let's see if they're going to use it to try and eat this booyah. They do eat the booyah.
They tried.
No.
They're going to miss. And unfortunately, they are going to get taken out by this machine.
Yeah. Are able to get a splat bomb off before dying, though. Absolutely huge to stop the little momentum they were trying to gather with that push.
Are going to go 3 down, but unfortunately, given that... Wait, what? Oh my god, swimmer!
Oh my god, the pro swimmer paintbrush was able to do exactly what I said it would and get a huge flank with the curling bomb. Unfortunately, not enough to score the ball, so it's only 74. Not a very comfortable.
Yeah.
Though on a low-scoring map like Crab Leg, it can be a winning lead.
Yeah, I mean, you still want to try and get at least one more push in after that, just to get a bit more follow-up. But that is going to be pretty good for you know, the Terps here. Nautilus playing aggressively here, almost finding 3 there. And this is going to be our first push from Turnpike, where they are able to take the lead.
Yeah, immediately swaps lead there with an actual push instead of a super jump push. Not necessarily just surprising to anyone who actually, you know, plays Clam Blitz a lot. But Dreadringer unfortunately misses their second shot and does trade with the Nautilus. This is going to be a huge lead for Turnpike, though they do miss one of their balls, so not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, I believe they used their Pity Clam for that push as well, so they are also going to lose that. Although also, I guess in fairness, Terps also used their Pity Clam during that push, and they missed it.
They didn't have one.
Oh, they didn't have one. Okay, I'm stupid then. Ignore me.
Yeah, they didn't score yet, so there wasn't any Pity Clams for that first push. But besides that, yes, they definitely did squander their Pity Clam there. I believe Pity is the clam that did end up dying. Looks like Dread's gonna go for a flanking Reef Slider. Gets called out before they can make it by the pro.
Yeah, we're going back into this hard neutral here, where you know, they both go down one-on-one, with Turnpike now trying to make another push happen here.
Yeah, although with Cooler, the Terps were able to come back almost immediately. Gonna hold the booyah, trying to catch someone. Does manage to catch a jump out.
Yeah, they're able to get a pick on the crab, which is gonna be huge. It is just the Dwedwingo on the side of Terps, opting to try and reef slide. Oh, I missed. I'm so sorry. I missed them running over someone because
definitely a huge slider though stops their push dead in its tracks. Though Dreader not really helping with the pick there, does manage to find it. But now going to start holding far left.
I think you're throwing.
You're welcome for that, by the way. But Dreader already having enough for another slider, really just showing how impressive a painting weapon it is. Gets another pick. Looks like they're going to start making a proper push here, but does
this might be Terps' chance to make a push happen here. They are going to get the ball in. They get this ball in, and then like that is going to be lead.
That is lead off at 35 seconds. This could be the game for Turnpike unless they manage to make something special happen.
Oh my god, if we go to another fucking Game 7, I'm going to crash out.
Yeah, definitely an exciting night for, I was going to say PSU, but this is not, in fact, PSU.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you didn't see the PSU streams earlier, both of them went to Game 7.
Yeah, which I guess if we're following the trend, then Undertow would also be an instant knockout.
Yeah, we'll just have to see what happens here as we go into overtime. If Turnpike is going to be able to retake this lead here, they are going to find one on the charger. Although this
it looks like they have a booyah ready. Does not manage to pop it though. It gets called out. That looks like it's going to be match. I don't think they have enough time to get the clam in.
They had another booyah bomb, but they do pop it a bit early, and that is going to be another game for the High Tide Terps.
Looks like we are going to Game 7 yet again.
We're back in the fucking Game 7 building again. Oh my god.
Yeah. My money's still on the double booyah comp with Forge and V-Machine, both having a strong way to clear off tower, but I definitely wouldn't count Terps out for this.
Yeah, no, I think both of these teams honestly have a very strong chance at, you know, taking
although if we're going with
here.
our knockout theory, and if the pattern does continue for the 4th match in a row at this point from what I've seen in Week 5, then I would put my money on Terps' more aggressive hold forwardy comp with Paintbrush. Definitely able to call out a lot of, or get a lot of sneaky undeserved picks, which is huge in a knockout push.
Yeah, that is true, and I guess just because like just for the viewers, because I know not all of you probably are PSU students, so you weren't tuning into the streams that we did earlier. But basically, the undertow theory that minus E is going on about is basically just like every single time that we've seen or played undertow TC, it's just been a knockout. Someone has knocked out.
I mean, so far this is going to be my 4th time seeing Undertow TC, having both played Week 5 and also commentated twice today.
Yeah.
And all 3 of them have been a knockout, so I'm going to be interested to see if this 4th is going to follow suit.
Yeah, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but if High Tide Terps takes this, then that would be a reverse sweep.
Almost. They went 1-3.
That is true.
So
I guess
it would be
it's a pseudo
close.
reverse sweep.
Yeah, it'd definitely be close. It'll also prove my theory of a team going 2 up immediately does not necessarily mean they win.
I mean, yeah, that is true, because, again, reverse sweeps are a thing.
Yeah.
Just because you have a lead doesn't necessarily mean your lead is safe.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think I've asked this question 3 times now, but any thoughts on Undertow Spillway Tower control?
Something Dwedwinger.
Yeah, something snowball, I guess.
But
really it is all about
if it's not a knockout, then there goes our undertow knockout theory.
Yeah, well, my theory's wrong. I'm gonna angrily
I'm gonna
post.
go and
I'm gonna
crash
report
out,
this
and
on.
then we're gonna quit YouTube like what they did to.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a
Gooseworks
call out post on Twitter.com, adding Nintendo for ruining my Undertow
how dare
tower
you
control
ruin my
theory.
funny Squid Game because
Yeah,
these 2 teams didn't knock out on
yeah.
Undertow tower control. I'm sorry,
How
I had
come
to
you didn't
subject
make
you
it
guys
so
to
the
that
match?
fucking voice.
How dare you not make it so that the match only ends if a team gets a knockout? But anyways, going
True.
into
It's
game
almost like
7.
Jay had an event like that, and it started becoming painful after a while. We
Yeah.
were playing on Recon. There was no game. There was no music.
But anyways, going into game 7
Slosher.
here, we see V-Slosher for the strikes to clear off tower.
Yeah, that is
Definitely interesting.
I think that is definitely an interesting choice from the Terps here, as I believe that is the only weapon that is in this game that we have not seen yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Both teams running
Turnpike
pretty
getting
much
in-
the same kind of comps that they've run
Turnpike
before,
going
besides
down
the
too
Slosher.
early, giving the Terps an opportunity to get this first checkpoint here.
Yeah, definitely looking like they're trying to keep up the stagger, but does not make it. They do have a vac, though, to just hold off a little bit longer, but with 2 down, that'll be the 3rd. A delayed wipe, not going to be able to hold much. So gets stopped here at 2nd check.
Yeah,
Might be a reverse push by... Ooh, gets another sneaky pick here. Looks like they're going to go for a flank. Flanking Sloshing Machine gets a pick. Interesting.
Yeah, flanking machine there is something that I feel like I don't see
Oh, and they
a
work
ton.
on tower. Oh, you gotta love it. We get it. We got a pick. We got tons of momentum, and no one gets on tower. The Doctor getting pressure. It doesn't look like they're trying to bait out a drop.
No one's really like on the tower. They were just kind of starting to run away with that, almost taking the lead there, but they are going to be stopped by Grumpy Kong, aka Pro Swimmer, as we've been calling this entire time, despite their in-game name being different.
Yeah, that is not necessarily. They do cap the lead here, but it's not necessarily a strong one. They've only gotten to checkpoint 2, not necessarily broken it. So we could absolutely see it. Besides, getting a small reverse counter push in is not necessarily outside the scope of the reverse of the knockout undertow theory. So we still might be in business.
Yeah, I mean, it entirely depends. I mean, this would definitely be longer than the other games that had knockouts.
Yeah, 100%. But they are going 2 down again, but that is going to be a very impressive snipe. Does get called out by the knot though. Not what you want to see if you're.
This is going to be a lead flip for the side of Turnpike here, as the Terps are struggling to retake space here, as Turnpike is going to take the 2nd checkpoint.
They do manage to take out the knot, and they
they're
gets
gonna go
2
3
on a
down.
bomb. That is gonna be huge.
Yeah, now is
Just
their
the
chance
throw
to. Oh, this is definitely
goes
their
down
chance
as
now
well.
to take some space. Trying to grab the cooler.
Yeah. This is that definitely just needs to try and get them into a stagger loop if they want to have a chance at getting a knockout here. Not that I think that's really what they're going for, but you know, just in case.
Yeah, with the
and
vac
vac on
coming
tower
out,
a bit early vac though. Definitely not the best time. Does get a cancel
Yeah,
on the
although they are
bomb.
gonna take 3 down on the side of Turnpike. It is just the Nautilus. Although they are going to be able to
He was
find
getting
one, and they
heavily
are going to be
pressured.
slowing down the Terps here.
Yeah. No one's opted to stand on tower, so that is going to be a dead push there on the side of Terps. Unfortunate. That could have been a second check if they just stood on tower a bit longer.
Yeah, I think there was just too much on the tower, I guess, so it was just generally unsafe. Which,
Yeah,
you know,
maybe didn't notice
happens.
they went 3 down. Who knows?
Yeah, Turnpike trying to make another push happen here, although they are going to get quickly shut down. We have coming out. It is currently numbers even, despite just one being down. We have a flanking pro!
Oh, the pro manages to find one. Almost finds 2, but forces out a panic vac. Definitely not a loss for Terps, despite not getting the pick there. Especially since they're now able to hold this flanking position. Tries to target the charger, does find the pick, but gets finally killed by Bucket.
Yeah, this slosher really doing work for the Terps here. Not a pick that we've seen yet, and yet it has been helping them out a bit. I say that as soon as they go down.
Yeah, immediately 2 down for Terps. Even if Turnpike is 1 down, that is still going to be enough momentum to start a push. Not what you want to see if you're Terps, but definitely what you want to see if you're Turnpike.
Yeah, as the clock starts running low, the wipeout theory, the knockout theory is it's not looking good for knockout theory.
It's definitely looking a bit unstable, but could potentially still end up in a knockout, just not likely in UMD's favor.
Yeah, that is definitely true. As there's only 20 seconds left on the clock, both teams 2 down, but Terps having the specials online now they need to make something happen here because they need to take the tower if they want to have a chance at retaking the lead here. As we have Lego Boy trying to pop
but it does look like
Not's
going to immediately pressure it, force out an early vac, which could be huge. The flanking throw kills the vac. That is
and that's a wipeout on the Terps.
That is going to be game. No knockout for us, but that is game 7 going to Turnpike.
3 game 7s in a row tonight is certainly something for us, well, especially you, to go through.
Yeah, literally having to commentate for 3 hours so far.
Yeah, I mean, I gave you the option to rest. I was okay trying to solo commentate.
I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm fine commentating. I don't mind. But either way, very impressive showing by both teams.
This whole operation was your idea. At least the part that involved you commentating over it.
Yeah, that just didn't want to let you use solo commentating. But either way, very impressive showing from both teams.
Yeah, very impressive.
I would ask where they could find you,
teams.
but they can find you exactly where you're at right now.
I mean, you're on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, sorry, did I cut out there?
Yeah, I mean, you already know how to get to my YouTube channel.
Yeah,
which is probably the place where you can find me.
Yeah, I can be found in well, currently I could give you my exact latitude and longitude positions. You can probably find me there, but besides for that, I'm mostly on Discord.
Get doxed. I'm gonna go find your exact latitude and longitude locations.
Yeah, guys, I'm on Earth. You can find me on Earth, the planet. But either way, impressive showing. Definitely don't be too beat up if you are UMD here, but that is going to be a Game 7 loss. So
yeah, I mean, that is going to be end of the season for, I believe, both of these teams.
Yeah, Turnpike having this be their only one.
They both played really well. They had fairly even seasons, I believe, when I checked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, neither will be making playoffs as far as I'm aware. But, you know, they both did their best, and, you know, those were very even games for the most part.
Yeah, the knockout theory, unfortunately proven wrong. Probably the great upset of this entire set so far.
True, it's the fact that knockout theory was disproven. It's very unfortunate.
Yeah, it turns out that undertow tower control can, in fact, end in not a knockout.
That's crazy. Unless it's just a PSU thing.
Oh, it might
Neither of
just be a
these teams
PSU
were
thing. This is
PSU, so
true.
you know it could still be true, but it's just a PSU.
Yeah, it could be the PSU undertow tower knockout theory. All right, we just gotta. It was just a test, and it was a failure. So we altered its description to still be true. So therefore, I'm always right.
True. Just gaslight everyone into saying that you were always right.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, what?
Huh?
I would never gaslight gatekeeper girl boss.
I thought you were a girl boss.
Mostly because I'm not a girl.
I would say the stuff that you say
I got shoutouts to my favorite. Shoutouts to my favorite mode, undertow or not undertow, urchin clamblitz with a massive grate keeping that it can do. Gotta love grate keeping.
That map mode fucking sucks, bro.
I don't know how much gaslighting or gorilla bossing it does, but it does grate keep a lot.
It does do a lot of grate keeping. That is in fact true. Anyway.
Honestly, still the best way to hold a choke ever is just slap a giant gate in front of it.
It's true.
Literally, they can't get past it without. Like, it's better than strikes, it's better than Zuka, it's better than Booyah Bomb, it's better than Bubble, it's better than, like, Paintbrush or Dynamo. It's literally the strongest way to hold a choke. It's better than Bomb Spam. It's great. That's vertical. The only vertical grate that actually matters, by the way. There is one more on, I believe, Scorch, or not Scorch, Umami Ruins is the only other vertical grate in the game, and it's on the side as a decoration.
That is a good hiding spot, though, if you're playing hide and seek. What? Anyway.
Yeah.
I want to get ready for bed. So, I think...
So have a good night, folks.
Yeah, have a good night. I'm going to do one gamble because I think it's funny.
And you get a blue.
I get stickers.
Skill issue.
Stickers. I think I'm broke. I don't think I can... No, I can gamble more. I can do more gambling.
Yeah, gambling.
Yeah,
you get a purple.
run speed
yeah,
chunks.
3 run
I'm
speed.
a front line. I don't use those.
Yeah.
I don't literally... Like,
says
none of my weapons
counter argument Brella. Just play Brella, obviously.
Oh, true.
And it's funny that Brellas and Splatlings are the only weapon class that actually use run speed.
Here, I'll use the good one. I'll use the good one.
True. Okay, but like, in real talk though, if Screen gets buffed, then Sorella Undercover Brella would probably just immediately become the best Brella. Or not best Brella, best Undercover kit. Just because Torp is so good on it.
I mean, if it didn't cause health problems also.
Yeah, I mean that too, but
Power
Undercover is definitely not a weapon that you want to be putting a mid-special on. That's why Kunder, when Torp was giga broken, was the only time Undercover was viable, is because it had the best sub in the game and the best special in the game.
True.
On a weapon that could use both of them.
Alright, anyway. I'm gonna
rambling.
end the stream.
Good night, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a good night.